It might surprise some people to know that America doesn't have a monopoly on superhero movies. It never did. Other countries and other cultures have their own superhero movies, so I'm going to tell you about the new kid on the block when it comes to cinematic universes. The Jagad Sinema Bumi Langit, the Indonesian version of the MCU. The first movie has come out and it's pretty damn good. Gundala. There were a lot of Asian superhero movies in the past, well before Robert Downey Jr. became Tony Stark. And to this day there continue to be a lot of them too. You got Zebra Man, Ultraman, One Punch Man, Dana, Sikak Man, and Black Mask, among many others. So Bumi Langit Studios in Indonesia decided to do their own version of a superhero movie. They were already making comic books, and so they saw that the next step was to make a movie, and they did. And the movie is called Gundala. It's from 2019, and you should check it out. By the way, this is not the first Gundala movie. Gundala Putra Petir was made in 1981, so well predates the MCU, the DCEU, or any of the other Johnny-come-lately American franchises. It even predates Sailor Moon. This superhero movie is very unlike the DCEU or the MCU. It's a lot more hardcore. The backstory for our hero, Gundala, is quite brutal. This is definitely not a kid-friendly movie, even though it does have children in it. We start out with our hero, Sanjaka, as a child. His father's been killed in a workers' protest against unfair conditions at a factory, and his mother's deserted him. He's left on the streets of his town, and it's a hard life for him. He gets beaten up by other kids until another kid, Awang, who's older, takes him under his wing and teaches him how to fight. And there's a really nice montage of Awang teaching Sanjaka how to fight in an abandoned railway depot. It's really well shot, really well lit. The director of the film, Joko Anwar, definitely knows what he's doing. He chooses his locations really well, and it gives us a sense that we're not in Metropolis and we're not in Gotham City. We are in Indonesia. We're in a country with incredible poverty as well as incredible wealth, and things are not easy for people living on the streets, and that's a theme running through the whole movie. It's a hardcore movie in some ways compared to a lot of the other movies in the same genre. Sanjaka grows up and becomes a security guard come repairman at a newspaper in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. While he's there, he meets up with some people who work at the local market and makes friends with them, and he also has an older security guard at his place of work who's something of a mentor to him. All of his life, Sanjaka has been scared of lightning. He thinks that lightning is coming for him, and indeed it does, because when he is eventually struck by lightning, he finds it gives him superpowers. He becomes stronger, faster, he heals from wounds really easily, and that's very important later on when some really nasty incidents occur with some pharmaceuticals. We then meet the big bad, Penkor, who was an orphan himself and took over his orphanage at an early age. He was disfigured by a fire in his childhood, and so he became wealthy and bought up a whole bunch of orphanages and trained orphans to become assassins to further his political, personal, and social goals. He is nasty. There's a scene with a legislator who doesn't agree with him, which would never appear in an American superhero movie. It's just too brutal. Penkor has a plan. He adulterates the local rice supply in Indonesia, and then using proxies tells the country that all of the pregnant women who ate the rice and became ill from it will give birth to children who are morally corrupted. A whole generation of Indonesian children are going to be born not being able to tell the difference between right and wrong. This becomes a big social movement and people are really upset about it until a pharmaceutical company comes up with a cure. So it's up to Sanjaka and his friends to stop Penkor and to stop Penkor's horrible plan, which will destroy the nation of Indonesia. If you've seen much Indonesian cinema, you're going to know what a lot of this movie is. If you've seen The Raid or The Raid 2 Redemption, you're going to know there's a hell of a lot of really good martial arts action in this film. And indeed there is. There's some fantastic wire work, there's some fantastic stunt work, There's some really nice martial arts done by children in it as well. And the superhero special effects are kept to a minimum. It only had about a 2 million American budget, this one. So it wasn't a large film, even on Indonesian standards. And so they save the superhero special effects for when they actually need them. And they are applied really, really well. Joko Anwar shoots the action scenes from a whole bunch of different angles. He really has a great sense of the flow of a fight. And at every time during this movie, you know exactly where everybody is and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that's a very hard thing to get right in action cinema, but Mr. Anwar does a fantastic job of that. We also get into Indonesian politics. There are a group of reformist politicians called the House of Peace who want to work against Pengkor and are in great danger doing so. And so you get all different levels of Indonesian society either working for the bad guy or against him. And so alliances form in odd ways, and eventually Sanjaka, being from the lowest rung of society, saves everybody, rich and poor, in Indonesia. And you've got to like that kind of a superhero story where the underdog prevails. The acting is really good too, and I'm going to read the names because I want to get them at least more or less right. Abimana Aryasatya is really good as our hero. He has a gravitas and a kind of solidity and a somberness that goes well with the character. He's not a man of many words, but his actions speak louder than the words would. There were so many action scenes, he got so tired he ended up asking for his stuntman to do some of the work. By the end of the film, he was doing maybe 97% of his own stunt work, and all credit to him for that. Tara Basro plays a young woman who works at the market and basically realigns Sanjaka's moral compass to help the people around him rather than ignoring all of the crimes going on around him. And we have Brompalare playing the big bad Pengkor. He's quite good at it too. Some of the makeup put on him isn't really the best, but we kind of allow that to slip. This movie sets itself up for a couple of sequels as well. The movie series is set up in this one nicely too, because there's a big bad, almost a Thanos kind of character set up, a Javanese sorcerer called Ki Willawuk, who is resurrected at the end of the movie, and it's set up so Ki Willawuk becomes Sanjaka's main foe in a future movie. And also there is a superhero ally who appears at the end of the film to help Sanjaka with his quest, and that is Shreya C, a female superhero who uses a scarf as a weapon. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm not sure whether the movie is going to be made at the moment with the problems with the pandemic, but the movie did make twice its budget back, and there's a possibility there that if a lot of people get on board with it, we're going to see more in this particular cinematic universe. And I would like to. I want to see other people tell their stories. I've said this all through 2020. My main goal as a movie buff is to watch and listen to and understand other people's stories. And a movie like Gundala gives me that. It gives me a superhero narrative, which I like, but it gives it from a different cultural viewpoint. And it doesn't pull its punches when it comes to the difficulties that people in real Indonesia are living with at the moment. And that kind of honesty demands a certain amount of respect. I think this movie, apart from being a fantastic entertainment, is a drama in its own sense. And because it's coming from a different cultural viewpoint, you've really got to stretch those mental muscles to fully comprehend it. Now, I'm not saying it's as good as Avengers Endgame or anything like that. It's a totally different interpretation of the superhero narrative, and for me it worked. It is available on Blu-ray in America. I'll post a link in the show notes here. I think that people should actually support it. You can also rent it on Amazon Prime if you want to, and you don't want to pay up for a piece of physical media, and I suggest you do. The more we can get this kind of movie looked at and enjoyed by people, the more we're going to see more of it, and I think that'd be a great thing. I think giving everyone a voice, particularly at a time where we tend to be on our little islands and kind of folding in and not reaching out to other countries as much as we have in the past. I think that there's an opportunity here to enjoy the art of other cultures and to respect them. Even though we can't go and visit certain countries, well, any countries at the moment for here in Australia, I think that there's an obligation there for us to reach out culturally and embrace and support interesting art from other countries, and Gundala is definitely that. Like I said, it's not the best superhero movie in the world, but it's an honest one, it's a fair one. It's a very, very hard drama to watch in a couple of places, but I think it's worthwhile. If you're here in Australia, you can watch it on SBS On Demand well into next year, and so you can stream that for free. Or if you have a VPN, of course, you can always mess around a little bit and get to watch that stream. But what I'd suggest is give them a little money if you can, and support a really interesting and potentially quite fun cinematic universe just at the point of it being born. So thank you for watching. Let me know if there's any other Asian superhero movies you'd like me to review, or even just to watch, because it is a new realm for me in some ways, and I really want to kind of get my head into more of that kind of stuff. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. I will be back soon with something else entirely. In the meantime, watch good movies, watch bad movies, watch Asian superhero movies, and I'll catch you next time.